he is quite proud that I've sat there. I need to listen to your episode now, obviously, to answer my questions, but I think he is proud of me that I've finally watched it. So it was totally not the film I was expecting. I thought it was like sci-fi for some reason. I think just because the look of Pinhead, I know he's not called that first one, but I thought it was going to be like really heavy sci-fi, which was probably why I'd been putting off watching it. I didn't realise it was just like, as I say, a middle-aged woman desperate for her hole. So she starts assisting in murders.
It's a decent film. I
enjoyed it.
Years ago.
It's what I would call, like, that's what I said to Chris, like that all day horror madness that I went to was very much what I would call like kitsch horror.
Yeah.
Like the practical effects are a wee bit aged and some of the dialogue's a bit, you wouldn't get away with saying some of it now and all that sort of thing, and it's quite camp and over the top. That definitely fell into that category. I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely the style of horror back then. There wasn't the same emphasis on the gore and everything, and the sort of the sheer bloody madness of some of the films. You know, there wasn't really much like The Monkey, for instance. That was a different type. That was, even slasher films were quite glossy and everything. All the Nightmare on Elm Street films and all that, they were very sort of glossy Hollywood productions. And so yes, and this kind of fell into that. But yeah, we did talk about the fact that where the fuck was this film set, because there was so many different accents on the go here. And was it in England? Was it in Boston? Well, you know, it's just like, what on earth is going on here? It was a bit weird. And I think we did talk about that. And it had to do with the production and everything. I think there was sort of production issues with the film.
Right,
before it got made, and they'd made changes to it, and it went through several iterations and all that. I think it kind of put Clive Barker off working in that sort of medium for a wee while as well, because of the way that, you know, the story gets twisted around by studios and everything. And elements and all that. But yeah, but it is regarded as a classic. It really is. Not so much the rest of the Hellraiser films. I think there is 11 of them, maybe 12.
Wow.
I've seen 10 of them because we did 3 pods on it.
Yeah.
The quality does go downhill rather rapidly. Yeah, it's relying on Pinhead very much.
Okay.
Which is not good. That's why he's such an iconic character. He's front and center for the majority of these films, you know. So yeah.
It definitely, like, I can see the appeal. Sammy's probably watched all of them, because he also messaged me the other day to ask if I'd watched any of the Psycho sequels yet, and I was like, Sammy, I'm just not. Like, I like the original, but I can see why that obviously became a bit of like a cult classic. But at the same time, having only watched the first one, I'm like, well, I don't really understand where it, obviously, unless it's like different people get the box and they awaken. Like, I assume that's probably where that goes, because otherwise I'm like, it feels like quite a complete story in and of itself. Yeah,
because the original one is based on I don't know if it was a complete novel. Yeah, it was based on a book. I don't know if it was a novella or if it was a full novel. It was The Hellbound Heart or something, wasn't it? It was it wasn't called Hellraiser, it was called something else. Yeah, and it was decent, but yeah, then it kind of spun off from that.
And is Clive Barker involved in all of the sequels, or is he just the first one?
I think he is involved in a sort of exec producer role in some of them. Some of them I think he had involvement in the stories, but I think after a while he sort of stood back from it because it was kind of hurting his brand. You know what it's like when it gets to like number 5 and number 6 of a series. They're sort of straight to video kind of ideas that they didn't even get like cinema releases. I don't think the last couple got cinema releases. They were all just
don't think that'll put somebody off one bit.
No. It's all about the hunt rather than the capture for him. I think it is actually trying to find where they are.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Oh, he does. I've never known someone to love sequels on the scale that he does. Like, and he fully commits. Like, once he's in a franchise, he's like, he will fully commit and watch. It's like what he's doing to himself with The Walking Dead. Like, he himself has said it's really bad and he doesn't like it and he's not enjoying watching it, but he's committed, so he's going to keep going with it.
Yeah, well, it's the same idea as watching Homes Under the Hammer or Come Dine With Me, there's a certain amount of comfort in just watching these type of things, just because there's a familiarity about them, isn't there? So that's kind of what it is with these, and it's the completist nature of the person's psyche as well, that they have to watch everything. Yeah, the Walking Dead, I gave up on that after the second season.
Oh, right, so you were quite early.
Yeah, I'd watched the first couple, and I always mean to go back to it, and then I think, well, do I really need to? Because and again, with that, there are so many spin-offs and everything now, so there's like maybe 3 different spin-offs.
As many as that? Wow.
Yeah, because there's a Daryl Dixon one, there is Fear the Walking Dead, and there was another one as well, which I cannot remember. And they've all gone on for like seasons and seasons of stuff, but they must be popular somewhere with somebody, because they keep making them.
They keep making them, and it would be unlike a cable channel or whatever or streaming service to keep plowing money into something that they know. I mean, they've cancelled things halfway through seasons, as we've talked about, so they must be being watched, which is weird.
Oh yeah, they must have a massive audience that still tunes in regular for all these things. So yeah, otherwise, it's, as you say, they wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't go anywhere near it anymore. So yeah.
Maybe it's Simi. Maybe he's like the one flame that's left. All the other candles have blown out, and Simi's just like one wee flicker. keeping the studio execs going.
It's quite a nice wee image, a wee hairy candle. Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
A wee hairy candle in a Jaws t-shirt, because that's what I think of. But I think of Simi as like really bright, colourful, like silly t-shirts.
That's something I want to see. The stage show that was based on Jaws, about the making of it. The Shark is Broken. I think it was playing for a wee while, but I missed it when it was here. So hopefully it'll come back at some point. I know there's
might do Edinburgh, maybe.
Yeah, there's a screen version of it as well. So one of the productions was filmed. So I think, and it's on. I've seen it advertised on some new service. It seems to be like theatre shows and stuff like that, but I think it's quite expensive to actually subscribe to it. So I don't know. We'll see that. Maybe they do a wee offer or something. Take it off for a couple of weeks and watch that. Maybe a couple of things as well. Maybe we'll see. But it looks quite good, because it's Robert Shaw's son that wrote it, and he looks so like him in this. It's just spitting image of him as well. As Quint, just looks really, really good. But it's been criticised from some people. Richard Dreyfuss hated it. And
I think he hates everything, in fairness. I don't think that's a marker of
whether
it's good or bad.
He managed to avoid getting cancelled as well, because he was involved in some unsavoury allegations as well. Not Andrew level, but it wasn't.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
Yes, they take great pains to say that full name every time that they mention him on the news now. It's quite funny. And they just call her Miss Ferguson as well. They don't even call her Sarah Ferguson. She is
clinging on for dear life, her. I mean, she knows that he is, or has been for the past few years, the meal ticket, because she's obviously been living with him, despite the fact that they're divorced, which is weird, because they were at great pains to say that the palace would not be funding wherever she lives. And I'm like, well, if she's living with him, they are funding it, because he's living on palace, or is it Sandringham grounds or whatever. But it did. We saw I don't know if you saw that clip where they were recording Question Time, and it's Fiona Bruce being like, sorry, we have to stop. They're in the middle of talking about people getting benefits for having anxiety, and she's like, we have to stop, it's breaking news. And she goes, Andrew has been stripped of his title of prince. And the whole audience, it was like proper saloon door stuff. Like, they all gasped and then started like a round of applause. It was very, very dramatic.
Yeah, they did that in Have I Got News for You as well, because that's recorded on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And they just started the recording, and one of the producers came on and actually whispered in the presenter's ear. And Jason Manford. Yeah, and they did that, so... And that got a round of applause as well. So yes, there's quite a strong public feeling about it, I think, more than anything else.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I don't believe for a second that the royal family are doing this out of any genuine feelings that he's done wrong. I think they're just trying to damage control and make sure there's no cries of abolish the monarchy because of whatever he's been up to of a week at this rate.
Yeah, because for the longest time they suppressed investigations about it. They threatened the BBC. The BBC had produced an investigation about the Virginia, is it Giuffre? What's her second? Yeah, Giuffre. About her allegations, and they had a program, and the palace said, if you air this program, if you do not shut it down, you will have no access to any royals. And that was the threat. It was
blackmail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So they were told you do this, and the BBC were in a position where there was they were getting hounded at the time anyway by the government because of funding, defund the BBC and all that. So they didn't have a lot of friends in political circles, so they didn't have any choice. They had to shut it down.
And then he obviously agreed to that car crash interview, which I will never, ever tire of watching clips of because it's so horrendous. And I honestly think that in his arrogance, he thought that would be the end of it, as opposed to it snowballing even further than it did from that, because obviously it became an instant meme, essentially, with the, I don't sweat and no, I don't get the friendship and all that sort of thing. And I genuinely think he thought that would be the end of it, but it's catapulted it even further. And, he'll never see justice in the sense that he's never going to be brought before a court of law. He's never going to be sent to jail. He's never going to have any of that. But at least, in a way, what's happened this week feels like the sort of contemporary equivalent of being placed in the stocks, because it's obviously going to be quite humiliating for him, I think. So we'll see if that takes him down a peg or two.
Yeah, but you've got to think that these people aren't particularly intelligent. They don't really think. And with all this going on this week, there was obviously a lot of questions about, what's going to happen to Sarah Ferguson? What's going to happen to his daughters? How are they going to... And obviously they are both established in the world with their own things going on. But in the news report that I read, I think it was Eugenie, this week, she was in the United Arab Emirates in a thing, and you're thinking the optics of that do not look good. You would think somebody would have said, maybe kind of put this off for a month or two, don't go to it. But no, they just pile in. They just, because it's all about money. It's all about making a bit of money,
It really is. And there's actually calls this week for a boycott of the UAE because they're obviously funding the civil war in Sudan. At the moment, so there's actually calls for it, as you say, have a think. Let's see if I don't know if it was holiday or business she was there for, but
it was business.
Maybe have a think about not being seen to be liaising with a country that it would be like popping down to fucking Tel Aviv for the weekend. Maybe take a break from that because it's not going to look good.
No, it looks particularly bad. It really does. But stupid people do stupid things. And the thing is, they've got a whole PR factory that is supposed to manage all this, and they do it badly every single time. Yeah. They try and cover things up and just ignore it, and they say they don't comment, but they do comment privately and stuff. And just,
It is a bit like the Riyadh thing that we've obviously spoken about in the wee group chat, Bill Burr for me is the biggest disappointment, because he was sort of on a roll of Eat the Rich and Free Luigi and all this sort of thing. And so to find out it boils down to, the check was big enough to go and perform. And then you're given these rules about what you can and can't make jokes about. So all of these nonsense comedians have come out and said, oh no, but it's about taking down the system from the inside. We can create free speech. Just say you wanted a third house. I would have a lot more respect for you if you came out and said, you know what, the check had enough zeros on the end of it and I just took it because, I'm a jobbing comedian or whatever, as opposed to trying to kid on that you're taking down, some big Arab government from the inside, and you've got loads of integrity while you're doing it. Just don't lie. Don't treat people like they're stupid.
Yeah, it is a bit pathetic. It's pathetic when people take a stand about things and then just totally go against it. It's like the whole thing with obviously Queen playing Live Aid, and yet 2 years before they were playing Sun City in South Africa, supporting that regime and all that, and you're thinking, yeah, that was all kind of, that's very rarely mentioned, that kind of thing, because they're regarded in such a way now, obviously, because you know, of Freddie's demise and everything like that. But it's the same idea, you know, artists taking money and not really thinking, or thinking it doesn't really matter. I'll come up with a story about how I'm actually a revolutionary and I'm doing it from the inside. And you're thinking, fuck off. No, you aren't. No, you're not.
Honestly,
you were in the place for about a week and you stayed in a 5-star hotel. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that I can't remember the name of that book that I read a while ago about all the dirty money that was Kleptopia that was getting washed through London. And I didn't realise there was such a large Kazakh contingent sort of washing their money through London, allegedly. But they were talking about, you know, like such and such a pop star getting paid £6 million to sing at, you know, somebody's like 12th birthday party.
Yeah.
Or stuff, and all that goes on as well, that you think there's so much money, like, and these things probably don't make the press as much because it's not like a big international comedy festival or whatever, but there's all that going on in the background with all these celebrities taking money off of essentially gangsters to perform at like their kid's birthday party or an anniversary party or whatever the case may be, and that's millions and millions of pounds exchanging hands there as well. And it's like, nobody has a conscience. It's actually, I mean, is it shocking? Part of me is like, no, you know that rich people just want to get richer. But on the other hand, you're like, you know that's dirty money. Why would you take that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's just, it's the modern equivalent of the Japanese adverts, where all the film stars used to do adverts, but it was only in Japan and it couldn't get shown anywhere else because they didn't want to be seen to be lowering themselves in any way. So yeah, it is. But obviously it's a more sinister version of that, because you're right, it is, they're dealing with people who are particularly unsavoury and do not get good press because they're fucking awful human beings. But yet, you know, Beyonce will rock up, do an hour set and earn millions of dollars. And you do have to wonder, with the likes of these sort of mega stars now, do they actually need the money? How much money can they spend in a lifetime? You know, obviously with Taylor Swift, she did it so she could buy her own back catalogue back. That was the whole point of the Eras tour, or as it turned out, that was the point of the Eras tour. But again, did she need the money? Do any of them need the money? They've got to such a point that they could quite easily release music for the next 50 years and not charge anything for it, just give it away, and they would not be any poorer than they are now.
Well, have you seen what Michael Sheen has done? And he's not like super A-list, but he obviously has earned, you know, a lot of money over the years. And he's like, there was a whole village in Wales where he paid off everyone's individual debt, so like credit card debt, you know, whatever. He set up theatres, he set up charities, like, and he's come out and said, like, I don't need this money. I'd rather give it to people that genuinely do need it and give it back to his local community in Wales, or, you know, whatever it is he's saying. And I'm like, why aren't more of the billionaires doing this? Why aren't they? Because you could live off the interest for the rest of your life and never touch your actual cash in the bank. Whereas he's going out and actually doing something with his money. He's not just finger wagging at Comic Relief and going, you know, to everyone at home, you should be giving your money. He's actually doing it himself. And I find that really remarkable that he, you know, he's obviously in a position where he can use his influence and he's doing it.
Yep, absolutely. But it's about the race to the top. It's about earning more than, you know, being the richest person in the country, in the world, whatever, you know. It's just all about status. It's not got anything to do with whether you're going to have enough money to see you through to your dotage and have some for your kids or whoever, you know. It's a game more than anything else, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, did they say Elon Musk is on course to become history's first trillionaire or whatever? I mean, whatever that means. I don't even know how many zeros that is. Like, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about all the services these people offer, like Jeff Bezos and all these kind of people, like Amazon. Why does Amazon keep putting its prices up? Do they need more money. Amazon's one of the richest companies in the world. Why does it need to increase prices for everything? Why does it need to introduce adverts onto Prime Video? Because, yeah, they'll make lots more money, but why? It just, lots more money on top of lots of money is just, it becomes insignificant after a while. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've read, there's a Darren Brown book, because he's like really into like stoicism. He wrote a book called Happy, and it's like basically philosophies for life from different sort of like, scholars and stuff that he has enjoyed reading. And there's like there is a legitimate cutoff point of earnings for where so that there's like a happiness index, and it's like if you earn up to X amount, you can feel like financially insecure, or like you start to feel more settled, or you start to feel like you've actually got money in the bank. But there is like a cutoff point of earnings where after that point, no matter how much money you have, it doesn't actually impact your happiness levels. It's just I'm nowhere near that cutoff point, obviously, but it was quite interesting that, as you say, it sort of just becomes another figure in the bank. It doesn't actually have any meaning after that. It doesn't make you feel better or worse about yourself. It's just so you can say that you're a billionaire or whatever.
Yeah, and you end up just buying stuff that you already have. So you end up buying a flashier car, you end up buying clothes that have got big labels actually down the leg and things like that, all this. And they kind of become a caricature of a person. They don't, you would think that once you get a bit of money that you would have maybe a bit more style about you, and you would just sort of, it would be like an improved version of yourself. But what you see is like guys walking about with suits on, but they're not wearing a shirt or a t-shirt or anything underneath. It's just a suit and bare chested underneath it and all this, because that's what they think wealth is about, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, like I say, I'm not at that level, and pretty much everybody I know is not at that level.
Yeah.
But, it's
the happiness and wealth index is not going to be troubling me anytime soon. That's for
correct, yes.